Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and Eitan and I are here to share with you the Kabbalistic teachings behind going all the way. Really, what are the secrets to moving forward full force in our lives for the sake of creating miracles and lasting fulfillment in a consistent way? Not just every so often, randomly, when I'm in the mood, when it feels right, or as a lot of people live their lives, miracles happen by accident, by coincidence. And we want to be in that state, in that frame where our partnership with the Creator is what creates those miracles and that fulfillment. And that's what this week is all about. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we provide our listeners with the most powerful and practical tools to navigate the coming 7 days from the teachings and tools of Kabbalah. So every episode offers up wisdom and tools that will not only support you in creating miracles this week, but any week of the year, any year of your life. And this week we have a specific influence from the section of the Torah that talks about the splitting of the Red Sea. And the Kabbalists reveal that that wasn't magic or miracle that was created because God decided it should be so, but it was really the human influence and interception that allowed physical matter to behave differently. And the Zohar reveals that there are deep secrets in this story that can help us understand how to really move mountains and split seas in our own lives. So that's really what our goal is to share this week, those secrets, those tools. And Eitan, I think that this week, even in a way, at least in terms of teaching Kabbalah, is one of the most famous weeks, one of the most famous sections and famous stories. And I think that this week we have the opportunity to really reveal some of the most powerful teachings within Kabbalah. So where should we begin?
Very often we speak about don't react in a negative way, just trust, it feels dark, it's okay, accept the pain. But this week we're talking about really being proactive with our action. And we're here to strengthen our relationship with the Creator, with the infinite force of the Creator, the light force of the Creator. And as we're doing so, we're expected to experience miracles in our life. And this is the week, the story of the splitting of the Red Sea, that the Israelites facing the Red Sea, behind them the Egyptian. And while they're praying to the Creator tells Moses, there's other times for prayer. This is the time to move forward. We trust. And that Red Sea represents for us many things in our life. Represent for us, in your gut feeling what's the right thing to do. But because you don't feel aware what type of outcome will be, and it's the right thing, but you don't see clearly how you will be protected and you will be okay, it's causing us to freeze, to hesitate, not to jump to the water, not to start the business, not to start the conversations, not to initiate actions, not to start the diet, not to make a commitment to the relationship. Why? Because you don't feel totally safe, because you don't see a clear, predictable future. The ego, the opposite side of our soul, that is not nurtured by the light of the Creator, likes to be motivated and energized when I see clearly what I'm going to get. Sometimes you have the clarity, but the moments that we're really establishing deeper connection to the light of the Creator and attracting miracles is when I know in my gut it's the right thing, but the outcome is not clear when and how. Maybe vague, I'm with the light, but it's not clear. And sometimes we'll do action, but we say, I didn't go in the right direction. I made the commitment, you see, I got rejection. Actually, one of the ways that the light is with you, number one, of course, you need to have clarity of soul, gut feeling of, I know it's the right thing as much as possible. Sometimes you don't know, but you have the pure intention. I want to do what my soul tells me, what the light tells me. Number two, it cannot hurt other people. It might be difficult for other people, but in the long term, it's the best for everyone. It has to be clear intention. I'm moving away from the ego, which is the temporary safety. Number three, move forward with trust and full force. Halfway, it's not God anymore. It's not the Creator anymore. It's not true certainty. There's no little bit of God. God is everywhere. It's all the way. So, and some of you might ask, but let's say I'm going full force with my commitment in the relationship. I'm not ready yet to make the full decisions. Let's get married. But I know I need to move forward. And maybe if it's not meant to be, so what you reminded me, Elisheva, Karen Berg used to say, do your part full force. Act as if you're committed. Give of yourself. Don't wait for validation in order to give all your energy. Then you're always going to chase your potential and you'll never get there. Full force as if the Creator is with you. And that full force commitment, the Zohar calls, don't wait from awakening from above. Awakening from below, from us, will attract awakening from above. Awakening from below above is a miracle. Awakening from above is actually full clarity. Awakening from above is suddenly you get energy and strength to do things in an amazing way. Awakening from above, you get clarity, you're in the wrong direction. Where in our life, in your life, in my life, if you're really honest with yourself, at the soul level, you have soul clarity, move forward, trust. You don't know the outcome. There's time to pause and not to react. There's time to jump and to proact. So a lot of people who are nice people, they will not do the wrong thing. But they're all jumping to risk to do the right. And they'll be unhappy. Not because they're hurting people all day long, because they're not accessing their potential. There's time to restrict negative behavior with trust, and there's time to proactively jump towards the positive when I don't see the full result.
Speaking about relationships, I shared that advice from Karen Berg with someone not long ago. And I said to her, it was about her relationship. And she said, I don't want to walk away. I don't know if I should stay. I feel, it's something we've heard before. And I said to her, so let's take this teaching, give it 100%. If it's for 6 months, you decide on the time frame, but only after you've given 100% can you actually know if there's potential, if there's future. And she said to me, I'm not sure I ever gave 100% to anything. And so I feel like this teaching really speaks to what you said before about many times we wait for the external validation, for the confirmation, for the sign. Even very spiritually minded people might say, I'm waiting for a sign, I'm waiting for a message. This is really more about understanding that our work, right, where the reason that we're souls in a physical body is because we're here to make effort. Yes, we should be able to move through life with ease and inspired and feeling connected and awakened, but the reason in the big scheme of things we asked for physicality is so that we could be the creators of our own reality, the initiators, the influencers. And so when we seek that signal from something outside of us, it's often an excuse for not taking a risk, for not breaking the barriers to to almost at the end of the day when I'm not successful, I can say, well, I was waiting for a sign and it never came, so that must mean it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't meant to be can be a very spiritual excuse for not daring, for not having the courage to take the risk and create that what it does is it creates energy so that even if at the end of those 6 months a person gives 100% to the relationship, they will have the clarity, like you said, the soul clarity. This is not the right relationship. I know because with my 100%, it didn't take off, then I can end it with peace of mind and being complete with my decision to move on in a different direction, without which you're always going to look back and say, maybe I should have, maybe I could have, maybe if I listened. So one of the things that the Kabbalists teach also that I think is underlying in this is that energy, that attitude of going all the way, right? It's not meant to be exhausting. I think the reason people get exhausted from giving a lot is because they're doing it from that ego place,
Beautiful.
which is limited, which is confined. It's like you only have a certain tank of gas for your ego. But when you're doing it with the force of the light of the creator behind you, when you're doing it for the sake of revealing your next level, for something expansive and not something limited, you don't get tired because you're not depending on only you to make it happen. And so I think that that's also something to bring to the picture. It might sound like we're saying you should be exhausted at the end of the day because you're pushing so hard. If your pushing exhausts you at the end of the day, it's not the right kind of pushing.
I like it very much because what you're saying, Elisheva, very often people making an effort in relationship towards each other, and then that disappointed, the hurt is because they didn't give all the way. Maybe they made a lot of effort, but what is to give all the way is without expectation of receiving nothing. I'm doing it for me, for my soul, for my heart, because I know the creator is in that moment. At the moment, I'm partially doing it because it's the right thing, but partially I'm expected I will be drained. Every time I'm doing things because I'm expecting something, I will be drained. So all the way is also without expectation. All the way is me in the light. While I'm dealing with you, but it's actually knowing when very often we're saying, I did it with all my heart. If you do something with all your heart, it means regardless if you will appreciate what they did for you or not, I'm okay. Half-hearted is, I'm doing it, but I want to see what's the results. So when you're doing it to do a favor for someone, I'm doing it just for you. I don't need your charity if you're doing it just for me. Because if you do really doing from the heart, you're happy in your heart already, regardless the outcome. That's to do it all the way. To do it all the way is nothing to do with the future. I'm totally one with the action and the effort with trust. And even though you're in the wrong direction, because your intention is right, not from ego, for the sake of sharing, questioning yourself, soul clarity, you do it full-hearted, the light will curve that wrong direction towards the right direction.
I think a big part of the thing that blocks people from giving 100%, going all the way is that, and again, this is a very spiritually reasonable concern, is they don't want to waste time, or they don't want to waste energy, or they don't want to make a mistake or, lose they're afraid that in giving all the way, there's going to be some sort of loss. And I think it's powerful, the teaching from the Kabbalists about the idea that energy is never lost, right? That you can't waste time unless you decide it was a waste. So that when you give, again, I'm going to go back to that relationship. If the relationship doesn't work out and we did genuinely give 150%, the investment of that energy will come back to us in another form. That's the concept of energy is never lost, means that because we're here to invest and create and initiate, even though our five senses tell us I invested in that person, or I invested time at that company, or I invested time in that hobby or career, and now I'm switching gears, that the tank that I filled moves with me. It doesn't stay in the relationship. It doesn't stay at that company. It's mine. It's my investment into myself. So even though it may seem like one chapter closes when another one opens, we bring the investment of our energy with us everywhere we go. Unless we decide, oh, that was a waste of 20 years, or, oh, it's not about rationalizing, right? It's not, oh, we had some good times, it wasn't a waste. Literally, to understand that the energy that I put into something doesn't disappear when the thing disappears. And so maintaining that consciousness frees you. We talked about freedom last week, frees you to give 100%, 150%, because there is no ultimate risk. The energy will not disappear with that person when they walk out of your life, or with that project when it comes to a conclusion. Even if you don't get credit for the project, the energy that you invested will come back to you. And maintaining that awareness allows you to give without the calculations that you spoke about a minute ago, without waiting for the return, without thinking, well, now I gave you this, now you owe me. Because it's not between you and me. It's not between me and the relationship. It's not between me and that company. It is between me and the light of the creator, between me and the universe. And the accounting is done upstairs, not here. So knowing that really allows you to give wholeheartedly. That idea of not worrying, not withholding because you're afraid of what will be with that person or that project, but really being able to give wholeheartedly is a level of freedom.
Beautiful. And I thought about, as you spoke about another category of giving wholeheartedly. We do so many things during the course of the day. We're already doing it. But ask yourself, are you doing it wholeheartedly? Because you have some chores, you have some shopping, you have to take care of the kids, you're speaking to someone, you say yes, someone in your advice, you say yes. Are you doing it wholeheartedly? Are you moving forward as if that's exactly what I need in my life? I have to give energy to that. If you're already deciding to give, yes, sometimes you decide it's not the place to inject my energy. You have a soul clarity. But if you already decided to do yes, it's not an important project or thing or conversation. That's part of being curious about life, about every aspect, about the in-between moments. You know, there's important moments and there's the in-between moments, which is most of the moments in our life. Am I looking at them as opportunity to inject wholeheartedly connection? No, there's no light here. Everywhere I'm not giving wholeheartedly my energy and my attentions and my excitement and my curiosity is because I don't believe there's growth in that moment. So most of my day, I don't believe there's growth, only in certain moments in my life. The ultimate consciousness, nothing should be a routine. And that's where magic happens as a result of even the seemingly routine moments in our life.
It's hard because I think that we see those mundane moments as responsibility, burden, obligation. It's not full of light, full of joy, full of energy. And I in my own supermarket visits and things like that, going to the airport, the things that are like, it's part of the job. I always remember that it's my job to bring the light wherever I go, so that when I'm looking for the light in those places and I bring the light with me to those places, they become part of my spiritual work, so that I'm looking for who I can share with, and I'm looking for, why am I sitting next to this person, and on the airplane and things like that. It changes the energy around those burdens and those obligations and really elevates them to a level where I do see the purposefulness in the people that I sit with, in the route I take with my car that might be different than yesterday, that there really is a divine thread weaving through all of it. And I think that maybe the best way to remind ourselves to give wholeheartedly is to remember that when we don't, the person who loses out is us, right? You think if you're not excited to have lunch with this person and you're going to give, okay, you're going to show up, but you're not going to give your best. The other person loses nothing. It's you who lose. You who end up being with the deficit of energy or the missed opportunity. You're not withholding it. They're not losing anything, whoever you're holding back from. And I feel like when you remember that, which for me, it's a challenge, but keeping it in my mind really, I think it's part of our own development of relationship with the Creator, right? When I remember that the person in front of me isn't just a person, the Creator put that person in front of me, and there is a reason for it, even if I can't see it, even if I can't figure it out, to show up in the ways that I see clearly, with the same energy and the same attitude and mindset as I do when I don't see clearly. And I think that brings us back to the first thing that you talked about is you don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to understand the why, but coming full force with your open heart and your energy in that 100% way is what reveals the purpose, the design, the perfection. But that's it. That's where we're meant to live. And it's really us that by withholding, by kind of holding back our energy, we are the one who ends up at the deficit and not the person or the project we're withholding from. Just a good reminder, I think. All right, then. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow us on all those platforms to receive more content about what we share in every episode every week. You can also visit weeklyenergyboost.com to search for our archives, send us a message, and click the donate button to help make Weekly Energy Boost possible. But most importantly, when you rate the podcast, when you share the podcast, when you review it, you help us reach even more listeners, and you do it every week. And that is magical. And we thank you for that. And as always, we'll see you next week on the Weekly Energy Boost.